This documentary was filmed and produced on the traditional unceded territories of the Squamish, Musqueam, and Tsleil-Waututh nations. I guess it was in 1981 or 82 that Mark and I got together at some point, because after the black metal fantasy had failed, I kind of gave up on that, thinking, okay, that's not going to happen. We got to figure a way, or I kind of let it go. I thought that's it. It's a dead dream for that one. But I got together with Mark, I remember about a year or two after that, and we inspired each other. We just started talking about it. We got excited, again, as my memory recalls. And I do not have the best of memories, but I do remember that I had given up on it, but the initiation sparked the interest again, got the excitement up again.
So the initiation was supposed to be epic. It was supposed to be Star Wars on stage, and instead it was more like Jar Jar Binks on ice. And one of the things that's really easy to forget, not just for Steve, but for me, the number of people who told us we were doing something amazing. So we may have been delusional, but wow, there were a lot of people in on that delusion. And a lot of people encouraging it and telling us, no, you're doing something amazing here.
Well, let me tell you. The black metal fantasy was supposed to be a two-part thing. First part, preparation of the Sorcerer's Battle. Second part, the Battle of the Sorcerers. We did the black metal fantasy preparation of the Sorcerer's Battle 3 times. Didn't lead to any major successes. So 2 years after that, Mark and I decided to turn it into a trilogy. And he wrote a script called The Initiation, which was going to be part 2 of 3 parts.
I remember how it came about as a trilogy, and I bear the full weight of that particular shame. I was studying literary epics in English Lit 12 at the time, and Star Wars had come out, and George Lucas had just said, well, the reason it's episode whatever, episode 5, is because it's part of a trilogy. So, and I had just learned that all great works were supposed to be part of a trilogy, and we wanted to do something great.
And I wasn't even in it. I was not even in it. I was just, I think I did a voiceover, or I was the narrator. I think I came out and I introduced the show, told a couple parts of it, and then I was not in it. And the other part of it was there really was no magic in it. We only had 1 or 2 props, including this giant prop of Satan kind of a thing, with a cow's skull as the head and lights around it and stuff.
So the initiation did not feature Steve Kaplan. We had to create a character to get him on stage. He had to become the narrator because Orion, his character, had no part in that story. In terms of writing, wow, that's the dumbest thing I've ever done.
Did I think Initiation was going to be a flop? I didn't think that it would be a flop, but I admit I didn't have the most confidence in it. I realized that we just did a whole production called, The Initiation. It was supposed to be a magical musical thing that really had no magic in it. It was a totally rock and roll fantasy thing, because I always thought of myself as a rock and roll magician. I had hair down to my waist, and I always incorporated music into my magic at the time as well. We actually got a write-up in the newspaper, and I remember the day the article came out, and it literally said, the headline screamed, "Rock fantasy turns into a flop." And they literally, I remember there's something in it saying that it's like a high school production moved downtown. So we ran it for 4 days, because that's what we had booked the theater for. And the first night, I think, was our largest audience of maybe 50 or 60 people. Second night, 10. And I think that was, you know, the last couple of nights around the same number. But somehow I just kept going. I didn't let, they crushed me. I fell down pretty hard. I have the kind of personality that that takes disappointment, takes letdowns, hit me a lot harder emotionally, which, as I'm sure anybody with a creative endeavors do, and I know that, you know, the world is filled with creative people who have chased their dreams and pursued their dreams and encountered exactly what I've encountered. Encountered the feeling of this, you know, maybe I'm kidding myself, maybe these dreams of mine aren't real, but somehow I knew that's all I wanted. It's all I wanted, and that's what just kept driving me forward. Okay, this didn't work. I got to find something else or another way to maybe make this happen. Maybe I can do it this way. Maybe I can do it that way.
Well, in my understanding, he knew that when he followed his heart, it always felt right. So when things didn't feel right, he would just have to go back to following his heart again after what you would call that moment in time.